Hi friends, my name is Abhishek Dattagupta and today I am going to share with you one interesting hack with respect to Microsoft Teams. Many of you might now be familiar with using Microsoft Teams and are using Microsoft Teams regularly in your work. One of the things that we do while using Microsoft Teams is to give presentations, of course, using PowerPoint. Today, I'm going to share you one hack showing you how you can effectively present PowerPoint using Microsoft Teams. As you can see on my laptop, I have already opened Microsoft Teams and I have already have this team channel called as YouTube channel. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to just simulate usually in a meeting how we share a PowerPoint. So let's say I am starting a meeting right now. I want to name it as demo meeting and I click on meet now. I don't need my video to be displayed currently. So I have not yet invited anyone to the meeting. So this is how typically if I log in and trigger a meeting, this is how it will look like in the beginning. And let's say people have joined and I want to share a presentation PPT. What I will typically do is I will click on the share button. I'll click on this desktop. So what I'm doing is I'm now sharing my desktop with all the participants. I will go to the folder where I have already made presentation. So for this session, I have one PPT called that is there in this folder. I open up this PPT and now I want to do a slideshow and start going through the PPT and explaining the details of this presentation. So usually what we do is we click on this slideshow button, right? And then we either click it via the mouse, or if you have a click through device, we use the click through device to go through. Now, what happens is if we are using this method, as you can see in this video right now, the entire screen has been taken up by the PowerPoint in the slideshow mode, right? And I don't know if I'm giving a session to a group of audience, a group of participants. I do not know if somebody has asked a query in the chat, somebody might have raised a hand, they have a doubt to ask. So I do not know what is going on behind the scenes because I do not have access to the floating bar or to the chat. So I am kind of in a blind spot. I'm just going through my PPT, and if I have muted the participants, then people have no way to let me know if I have to stop or maybe explain a topic in more detail. So that is the problem when we usually go ahead and just share a desktop and go ahead and explaining and a PPT in a slideshow mode in this way. Now, what is the alternate way or the hack that I'm talking about? So in this case, let me again just go back to where we were. So I will close this PowerPoint presentation as of now. I'll go back to my Microsoft Teams. So here I have still people yet to join, but now I will stop sharing and let me try some different way. So one is I click on this share button, and now as you can see, in addition to this desktop window, I also have this section known as PowerPoint. Yeah, and this is an interesting section which gives me a different option. What I mean to say is I can add my PowerPoint presentation to Microsoft Teams directly from here. So I can either browse my existing teams and channels. If I uploaded a presentation there, I can directly put it here. Or if I have a PPT in my OneDrive, I can put it from there and upload it here. Or for this case, I'm just going to upload this same presentation from my desktop. Or so here I select it. So what is happening, it is now uploading this PPT to the Microsoft Teams, and once it is done uploading, it will load this PPT in the slideshow mode. And here we can see after loading an interesting difference. once it has completely loaded and it has started showing in slideshow mode, we will see that the PPT is, even though it is in slideshow mode, we are still able to have access to this floating bar of the MS Teams. What it essentially means is that even though I am presenting my slides, I can still quickly check my chat window. If somebody asked a question, I can reply back there. If somebody has raised a hand, I can see who has raised a hand and I can reply back to that query. Now, of course, one way to handle all of this is that even though the PPT is in slideshow mode, like previously I was showing you, you could have one of your friends joining your session and that person could be monitoring the chat window and replying the chat window while you give the presentation. That is one alternative workaround that we have. But let's say you are the only person who is doing the presentation and you are not only doing the PowerPoint presentation, but also you are handling the queries, you are interacting with the participants. So then it is imperative that you have access to this floating bar. So you have a better idea of the situation that is going around while you're doing the presentation. Now, interestingly, you can also see on the left hand side, we have this the arrow bars that you can allow you to navigate to the left and right. I can click on this arrow bars and I can navigate forward, I can navigate backward. And now when I have uploaded this slide to my Teams channel, people who are added to this channel, if they have a section to present, let's say I presented the first introduction slide and somebody wants to talk about the architecture of that topic, or they want to go ahead with the demo, they don't need to stop sharing the screen and again share from their own laptop. They can again move forward and click on this arrow button and then they can start sharing from their side. So that way we have a more effective way of presenting PowerPoint using Microsoft Teams. Now, if you want to say that, okay, I do not want anybody else to intervene while we are presenting, and I just want myself to present the slide deck, and at the end we will have more discussion. So if you see this I button here, you can click this I button, and now what will happen is people who are even added to your Teams channel, they will not be able to browse the PPT and go ahead unless you allow them to. So that is one additional feature if you don't want them to move ahead. So you can click it, and once you are done with the presentation, of course you can stop presenting, which will take you out of the slideshow mode. And so I think this is a very nifty and useful technique that allows us to effectively present PowerPoint using Microsoft Teams. So thank you for joining me today and hope this interesting hack was useful to you and you would be using it in your future presentations.